Another point. Point one, Jesus Christ is a historical and factual figure with many witnesses to support his life and his death and his resurrection and his walking back on the earth. And I would contend that those are all fairly hard to dispute, even if you didn't see it. I was thinking about this the other day. People said, why am I supposed to believe in God? I can't see, feel, taste, touch him. Well, you also can't feel, see, taste, touch the non-existence of God, which would really be nothing. What's that guy's name? It does a really funny thing about God is, people say God is, that the earth came out of nothing, and then people say that when we die we go into nothing, so we go back to our creator. I forget the guy's name. That's just a paraphrase. You should look it up. What is his name? Anyway, what I was trying to say was that Jesus walked the earth, and no scholar will deny the actuality, the factual of Jesus. They may deny the resurrection, but they won't deny that Jesus existed. And I, as a Catholic, believe that it's undeniable that Jesus gave the keys to the kingdom to loose and bind and to, make the decisions for the church with the guidance of the Holy Spirit. Things will go well. If a pope or a priest or a bishop isn't being guided by the Holy Spirit, then things will go bad. And we know that from even recent history with different scandals, and certainly there have been some bad popes. You know, there was a time maybe 8 or 10 years ago where I would have denied any wrongdoing by the church whatsoever and any wrongdoing by the United States whatsoever, but I've come to a more nuanced, a realization that the country has made mistakes, errors, things it shouldn't have done. The church has done errors. Usually these are mistakes and things done by individuals, just like it is with the government. Individuals doing things wrong. But it was brought up the other day, as usual. But is that Jesus' teaching to do any of the things that happened that shouldn't have happened? Or is that the government's spider? Is that the government's teaching that certain things should happen? No, the government and the church teaches certain, has their teachings. Now, do some Catholics and do some American citizens or American presidents and politicians and people in power make bad decisions? Yes, but that's not the teaching of the church. So you can say that, for example, the scandal, people go, oh, I can't be a Catholic because of the scandal. Well, the Catholic faith doesn't teach what any scandal that has ever happened in the church. It doesn't teach to do those things. So that's not an excuse not to follow the church, and to be in the church is an excuse not to follow that person or leader, but not to abandon the church. And to my final, my final idea there is that the church was founded by Jesus Christ. On this rock I will build my church, and the only church that can be actually find its origins, its roots in that declaration is the Catholic Church. And so, for whatever scandal you might hear, whatever the preacher is boring, the music stinks, the church is ugly, whatever excuse you try to come to mind with, the bottom line is it true? I'm just going with the truth. My personal church is not as attractive as some church that, probably any church, in my mind, probably any church that was made back in the 1800s or anything earlier than 1900s anything earlier than, say, 1940. All the old churches are just pretty to me. I don't like a new McMansion. I like an old 1808 house with the amenities, of course. You want the plumbing indoors. You want lights at night and a heater. But I guess what I'm saying is I want our country, bottom summarization, when you follow Jesus and you do as he commanded and you live like he lived, you'll be kind. You won't be greedy. You'll visit the poor. You'll help people in need. You won't be lustful. So if we and our government were followed by men of that ilk, of that fortitude to follow those things when they make votes, then we would do fine and we will flourish. We won't be heaven on earth, but we'll be dang close. So I pray that this country will become Christian again, and by Christian, I mean Catholic. The only church that Jesus founded. The only church that can be traced to Jesus. Martin Luther, Wesley, Smith, all started their own churches and have origin in, for the most part, most of them in the last 500 years. But it's only Jesus Christ who has a church with the origins of Jesus Christ, which is over 2,000 years old. So let's become Catholic again and make this nation great again. Maca, make America Catholic again. My mantra.